TV soap news and spoilers say that today, we plunge into the heart of a riveting family drama that has gripped the audience of Beyond the Gates with its raw emotion, tangled lies, and unrelenting suspense. At the center of this storm are Kat and Eva, two women caught in a web of doubt, betrayal, and a quest for truth that threatens to shatter their family forever. What happens when Kat, steadfast in her refusal to accept Eva as her sister, takes matters into her own hands? Will she uncover a devastating scheme orchestrated by Dana, Leslie, Thomas, or will the truth bind her to a sister she cannot bear to acknowledge? Join us as we unravel this saga, diving deep into the emotional turmoil, dramatic confrontations, and shocking revelations that define this unforgettable storyline, unraveled bonds and hidden truths. The explosive saga of Kat and Eva on Beyond the Gates, a family fractured by secrets in the opulent yet treacherous world of Beyond the Gates. The Winston family has long been a pillar of prestige, their names synonymous with wealth, influence, and unspoken scandals. But beneath the polished surface lies a family fractured by betrayal, none more devastating than the revelation that Eva, a woman who emerged from the shadows, claims to be the daughter of Ted Winston, patriarch of the clan. For Kat Winston, this claim is not just a surprise, it's a dagger to the heart, threatening to unravel everything she holds dear. Kat, the poised and fiercely loyal daughter of Ted and his late wife, has always been the guardian of her family's legacy. Raised in the glow of her father's love and the weight of her mother's memory, Kat has fought to preserve the Winston name against those who would tarnish it. But the arrival of Eva, with her enigmatic charm and unsettling familiarity, has thrown Kat's world into chaos. Eva's assertion that she is Ted's daughter, born of an affair with the notorious Dana, Leslie, Thomas, is a wound that refuses to heal. Kat's mother was torn apart by Dana's manipulations years ago, and the scars of that betrayal still linger. To accept Eva as her sister would be to validate the woman who destroyed her family, a prospect Kat cannot stomach. A tense encounter at the country club. The drama reached a boiling point in a recent episode, set against the glittering backdrop of the Willow Creek Country Club, where Salem's elite gather to flaunt their status and settle their scores. Kat, her emotions a tangled mix of suspicion and resolve, confronted Eva in a moment that crackled with intensity. The air was thick with tension as Kat, her eyes blazing with defiance, demanded answers. Eva, ever composed but with a flicker of vulnerability in her gaze, met Kat's challenge head-on. "You know, Kat," she said, her voice steady but laced with an edge of defiance, "you were right about me all along." What followed was a bombshell that left Kat reeling. Eva produced a DNA test, its stark black and white results claiming to prove beyond doubt that she is Ted Winston's daughter. The document was a slap in the face, a tangible challenge to Kat's convictions. Eva's expression was a mix of triumph and desperation, as if she believed this piece of paper could bridge the chasm between them. But for Kat, it was nothing more than a flimsy piece of fiction, a potential forgery crafted to deceive. Doubt casts a long shadow. Kat's refusal to accept the DNA test was not born of stubbornness but of a deep-seated mistrust forged in the fires of her family's past. Dana, Leslie, Thomas, the woman who seduced Ted and shattered Kat's mother, was a master manipulator, a serpent who left devastation in her wake. Kat knows all too well the lengths to which Dana would go to secure her place in the Winston family. The idea that Eva, Dana's daughter, could be her sister feels like a cruel twist of fate, a continuation of Dana's legacy of destruction. Kat's heart screams that the test is a lie, a carefully orchestrated ploy to worm Eva into the family's inner circle. The document itself raised red flags. In an age where technology can manipulate truth with a few clicks, Kat couldn't shake the suspicion that Eva had tampered with the results. A photoshopped image, a fabricated sample, or even a test comparing an unrelated father and daughter, any of these could produce the illusion of legitimacy. Kat's mind raced with possibilities, each more infuriating than the last. Eva's earnest pleas did little to sway her. To Kat, they were just another performance in a long line of deceptions. A desperate quest for truth. Determined to protect her family and expose what she believes to be a sham, Kat resolved to take matters into her own hands. The idea of another DNA test, a legitimate one, conducted under her watchful eye, became an obsession. Kat's resolve was fueled by more than just doubt. It was a burning need to prove that Eva is not her sister, that Dana's shadow will not darken the Winston legacy any further. But the stakes were higher than Kat could have imagined. If Eva's claim proved true, it would force Kat to confront a reality she wasn't prepared to face, a sister she never wanted, tied to a woman she despised. Eva, sensing Kat's unrelenting skepticism, offered a bold proposal. "Let's do another test," she said, her voice steady but her eyes betraying a flicker of fear. "A test with you, Kat. To prove we're half-sisters." The suggestion hung in the air like a challenge, daring Kat to call her bluff. Eva's willingness to submit to another test was either a sign of unwavering confidence or a desperate gamble to maintain her facade. Kat, torn between her desire to uncover the truth and her fear of what it might reveal, agreed, but with a twist. She would conduct the test in secret, ensuring that neither Eva nor anyone else could manipulate the outcome. The secret test Kat's plan was meticulous, a reflection of her determination to protect her family at all costs. She enlisted the help of a trusted friend, Dr. Emily Chen, a geneticist at Salem General Hospital who specialized in DNA analysis. Under the cover of night, Kat gathered a sample of her own DNA, a strand of hair carefully plucked from her brush. For Eva's sample, she resorted to subterfuge, slipping into Eva's apartment during a charity gala where Eva was sure to be distracted. A discarded coffee cup, still bearing traces of Eva's lipstick, provided the DNA Kat needed. It was a risky move, one that could backfire spectacularly if discovered, but Kat was beyond caring. The truth was worth any price. At the hospital, Dr. Chen worked swiftly, her hands steady as she processed the samples in a state-of-the-art lab. Kat paced the sterile hallways, her heart pounding with a mix of dread and anticipation. Every beep of the machines, every flicker of the fluorescent lights, seemed to amplify her anxiety. What if the test confirmed Eva's claim? What if Kat's entire world, her identity, her family, her sense of justice, was upended by a truth she couldn't deny? But the alternative was just as terrifying. What if Eva was lying, and Kat's actions exposed her as a fraud? The consequences would ripple through Salem, destroying relationships and reputations in their wake. A family on the brink as Kat awaited the results, her thoughts turned to her father, Ted. He had been a towering figure in her life, a man of strength and flaws, whose affair with Dana had left scars that never fully healed. Kat's mother, Margaret, had been the heart of the Winston family, her grace and warmth a beacon in the storm of Dana's betrayal. Margaret's death, years later, was a wound that Kat still carried, and the idea that Eva could claim a piece of her father's legacy felt like a betrayal of her mother's memory. Kat's love for Ted was unwavering, but it was complicated by the knowledge of his mistakes. To accept Eva would be to forgive those mistakes, and Kat wasn't sure she could. Eva, for her part, was a woman caught between worlds. Raised by Dana, she had inherited her mother's cunning but also a longing for connection. Her claim to be Ted's daughter wasn't just about inheritance or status, it was about belonging, about finding a place in a family that had rejected her mother. Eva's interactions with Kat were fraught with tension, but beneath her polished exterior was a woman desperate for acceptance. She knew the odds were stacked against her, that Kat's hatred for Dana colored every word and glance. Yet Eva persisted, driven by a need to prove her truth, even if it meant submitting to test after test. The weight of the past, the shadow of Dana, Leslie, Thomas loomed large over this drama, her influence a poison that seeped into every corner of the Winston family. Dana had been a master of deception, a woman who wielded charm and manipulation with equal skill.
Anything for you, Mr.
Her affair with Ted had torn Margaret apart, leaving Kat to pick up the pieces of a broken family.
Laura off the road.
Dana's disappearance years ago had done little to erase her impact.
So long to wind up in my bed.
If anything, it had left a void filled with unanswered questions and lingering resentment. Kat's refusal to believe Eva was as much about Dana as it was about the DNA test. To Kat, Eva was an extension of her mother's nemesis, a living reminder of the pain Dana had inflicted. But what if Eva was telling the truth? What if she was, indeed, Ted's daughter? The possibility gnawed at Kat, forcing her to confront uncomfortable questions about her father's choices and her own capacity for forgiveness. Ted had never spoken of Eva, but his silence could mean many things: guilt, denial, or perhaps a desire to protect Kat from further pain. The uncertainty was a weight Kat carried alone, her trust in her father tested by the specter of a sister she never knew. A town watching, waiting Salem, with its gossip-laden streets and prying eyes, was abuzz with speculation about the Winston family drama. At the country club, in coffee shops, and at charity events, whispers followed Kat and Eva like shadows. Friends and foes alike weighed in, some siding with Kat's skepticism, others intrigued by Eva's claim. The town's elite, always eager for a scandal, watched with bated breath, knowing that the outcome of this saga would reshape the Winston family's standing. For Kat, the public scrutiny was a double-edged sword, amplifying her resolve but also exposing her vulnerabilities. Every step she took was under a microscope, her decisions dissected by those who thrived on drama. Eva, too, felt the weight of Salem's gaze. Her every move was scrutinized, her motives questioned. Was she a victim of her mother's legacy, or a willing participant in a scheme to infiltrate the Winston family? The town was divided, with some seeing her as a woman fighting for her rightful place, others as a cunning opportunist. Eva's composure in public belied the turmoil within, her heart torn between hope and fear. She knew that the DNA test, if it confirmed her claim, would only be the beginning. Winning Kat's acceptance would be a battle far harder than any lab result. The results arrived days later. Dr. Chen called Kat to the hospital, her voice neutral but urgent. The results were ready. Kat's heart raced as she entered the lab, the sterile environment a stark contrast to the chaos of her emotions. Dr. Chen handed her a sealed envelope, its contents holding the power to change everything. Kat's hands trembled as she opened it, her eyes scanning the document for the truth she both craved and dreaded. The results were conclusive. Eva was, indeed, Ted Winston's daughter. The DNA matched, confirming that Kat and Eva were half-sisters. The words blurred before Kat's eyes, her breath catching in her throat. It was a truth she had fought against, a reality she had refused to entertain. Eva was her sister, bound to her by blood, a connection that could not be undone. The realization was a tidal wave, washing away her defenses and leaving her raw, exposed, and utterly lost. A reckoning and a choice. The revelation forced Kat to confront a choice she wasn't prepared to make. Could she accept Eva as her sister, knowing the pain Dana had caused? Could she forgive her father for a betrayal that had reshaped her life? The answers were not simple, and the path forward was fraught with peril. Kat's instinct was to push Eva away, to deny her place in the family, but the truth was unyielding. Eva was a Winston, and Kat could no longer hide behind her doubts. For Eva, the confirmation was a bittersweet victory. She had proven her truth, but at what cost? Kat's rejection was a wound that cut deep, a reminder that blood ties did not guarantee love or acceptance. Eva's future in Salem hung in the balance, her place in the Winston family uncertain. Would she fight for Kat's approval, or would she walk away, seeking a life free from the weight of her mother's sins? A legacy in flux. As the saga unfolds, the Winston family stands at a crossroads. Kat's journey is one of reckoning, a battle between her heart and her principles. Eva's path is equally fraught, her identity tied to a family that may never fully embrace her. The specter of Dana, Leslie, Thomas continues to haunt them, her legacy a thread that weaves through every decision, every confrontation. Salem watches, waiting for the next chapter in this gripping drama, knowing that the truth has only begun to unravel. What will become of Kat and Eva? Will Kat find a way to bridge the chasm between them, or will her refusal to accept Eva tear the Winston family apart? Will Eva's determination to prove herself lead to redemption, or will it deepen the divide? The answers lie in the episodes to come, each one promising more twists, more heartbreak, and more of the drama that makes Beyond the Gates a must-watch. Dear fans, what do you think? Can Kat and Eva find common ground, or is their bond destined to fracture under the weight of the past? Share your thoughts, predictions, and hopes in the comments, and we hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV soap news and spoilers for more updates on Beyond the Gates.